Nets obviously didn't have a hot start when he got back on the court. So how much compromise, resolve, and sacrifice is it going to take this team to do what the Cavs were able to do?
Well, I'm sure Kyrie thinks he's sacrificing, but the first two games here, this game's still going on. He's taken the most shots far and away by anybody on the Nets. He hadn't played in 2 weeks. He came back in that game on Wednesday night and took the most shots. And down the stretch, Kevin Durant and James Harden were yielding to him. I think they absolutely wanted to make him feel comfortable. But this is going to be something that Kyrie's going to have to work on. That integration with LeBron James and Kevin Love was bad. LeBron took him aside within the first 5 games of the season and said, stop being a ball hog. It's not been that level, but Kyrie definitely has come in and looked to let everybody know he's not a third wheel. But the reason the Nets are struggling right now, and the biggest things that they've got to fix, they're not a good defensive team, and they're not a good rebounding team, and they're getting killed in both fronts tonight. The Cavs are one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They're destroying them. They're destroying them on the boards. They're going to have to make a couple of more moves to fortify this roster. Now, today, the NBA awarded them a $5.7 million disabled player exception because Spencer Dinwiddie is out for the year. They can use that to go get a player. And one of the guys I think they may call on is the Cavs and JaVale McGee, who is now a third-string center after Jarrett Allen got there. JaVale McGee close with Kevin Durant from his time in Golden State. They won rings there together. So they're going to have to get somebody to play a little defense to get some rebounding, regardless of how the big three play together.
That's very interesting. I was going to ask you about that, and it will be interesting to see how all the pieces fall together. Perk, I'm going to ask you about a tweet. Speaking of pieces and roles that people have on this team, you tweeted this, all right? Kyrie is going to have to be okay with being Alfred. Okay, so he's not exactly looking like Alfred so far. He led the team in shots, as Wendy said. Only 3 assists tonight. He has a little more. If Kyrie doesn't slide into that Alfred role, does this work?
No, it don't work at all. Look, you have James Harden and Kevin Durant. In my eyes, Kevin Durant is the best scorer that has ever touched the damn basketball. James Harden is the most prolific scorer that has ever touched the basketball. 2 MVPs. Kyrie, you have to be the third option. And I feel like Steve Nash right now is not using him in the right way. You have to put him in a 6-man role. You still start him, but sub him out early in the first quarter, bring him back at the start of the second to roll with the second unit and let him do him. Because right now, he's trying to prove a point. And Wendy was right. Look, the word sacrifice should never come out of Kyrie's mouth because he's not trying to take a backseat to no one, and right now it's not adding up. Yes, he had a 37-point game, and right now he might be on pace for 40, but it's 2 losses. So you have to switch it up. You have to get others involved because the last thing you want is for Joe Harris, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan not to get touches offensively because it's hard to ask them to go down and play defense when you're not involved on the offensive end.
Wendy, going into the season, everybody expected the Nets to be at the top of the East. Where do you think that they rank right now?
Well, my gosh, there are times offensively, like that first 5 or 6 minutes of the big three playing together, they made their first 10 shots. I mean, it was awesome to watch them play offense, and I think there's going to be times where we're going to be blown away by these guys. But right now, they are frankly a bottom 4 or 5 defensive team, and they may be bottom 3 defensive team. And so I can't look at a team that is going to be a bottom 5 defensive team, which they have been since the first 2 games, and say that they are a contender to win a conference. But I will say, they have the 2 open roster spots, and they just got this disabled player exception. And I'll tell you what, if I was any Net on that team, not named Irving, Durant, or Harden, I'd be worried I was getting traded. And so give them 6-8 weeks here to see what they do with this roster and see if they can fortify it. There are moves to be made, and we'll see where they are come mid-March and evaluate them then.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.